Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something pretty substantial, this big update announcement from the Black Desert Research Lab, the notes from October 10th, 2025. And our goal here is really to cut through all the details. We want to pull out the most important quality of life changes, the system shifts, the balance tweaks, basically everything that's going to change how you gear up, prep for combat, and tackle that high-end content. Think of this as less patch notes, more strategy guide.
Right. And what's really interesting, I think, is the kind of double message here. On one hand, they're clearly trying to smooth things out, making those older, kind of painful systems enhancement, for example, way more accessible.
Less clicking, maybe.
Definitely less clicking, less inventory mess. But then on the other side, they're tightening things up competitively. Think trial characters, naval, PvP. They're raising the bar there. It's like easier to get started, harder to master.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Let's get into it then. And we probably have to start with the big one, the thing that affects almost everyone daily. Gear enhancement and that whole UI overhaul, the magic bag people are talking about.
Exactly. The enhancement UI. Forever, enhancing has been partly about managing your inventory, right? Weight, slots.
Oh yeah, inventory Tetris.
Totally. So the goal here seems to be making that whole process just easier, more intuitive.
And the main piece of that is this enhancement inventory, the Gangwagabang, is that right? Tell us how that actually works.
So this is a really big deal structurally. It's a new separate storage space just for enhancement materials. And crucially, it's family-wide and weightless.
Weightless, okay, that's huge. How much space are we talking?
A lot, 192 slots. So think Blackstones, Crons, Caphras, all that stuff. And here's the key part for, making life easier. Materials now go directly into this bag when you loot them or get them as rewards.
Oh, wow. So they completely skip your main inventory.
Completely. It just avoids that whole initial step of sorting, managing weight. It's aimed at reducing that friction right away.
That sounds fantastic. Like genuinely quality of life.
Yeah.
But I assume there's a cache. You can't just stash everything there forever and use it as a massive bank.
Right. There's a practical limit. If you want to do something with those materials other than enhancing, like maybe processing them or listing them on the central market, you do have to manually move them back into your regular character inventory first.
Okay, so it keeps the enhancing process clean, but doesn't break other systems. Makes sense.
And it's not just the bag. The actual UI, the enhancement window itself, takes some tweaks. Nader's band, for instance.
Yeah, the fail stack storage.
That window now shows 10 slots by default. No more clicking that little arrow to see all your stacks.
Nice little time saver.
And the buttons for enhancing are clearer now too. Big separate buttons for enhance versus safeguard enhance, the one that uses cron stones. Less chance of accidentally clicking the wrong one.
Always a fear. Okay, and what about that confirmation window? The pop-up you get when enhancing expensive gear. That could be really annoying.
Ugh, yeah, the confirmation spam. They've definitely relaxed the rules on when that appears.
How so? Is it just gone?
Not gone, but the trigger conditions are much looser now. Basically, for your really high-end gear, we're talking God-eyed Fallen God armor pieces like Libresca, Dawn's, Aesidur's shoes. You generally won't see that pop up anymore unless you're using a really big fail stack already.
Like over a certain number?
Yeah, the specifics are like if the stack is 100 or more for the lower grades, like +0 up to DO, or if you're using a stack of 150 or more and your final success chance is already pretty high, like 30% or more.
So it only interrupts you when the stakes are genuinely massive.
Pretty much. It assumes if you're going for those big enhances, you know what you're doing, and it tries to stay out of your way unless the potential loss is just devastating. It respects your time a bit more.
Okay, that's good. Now, moving on from the UI.
Yeah.
You mentioned materials. There's a big consolidation happening there too, right? Cleaning things up.
Oh, massively. This feels like a real effort to simplify things. They're basically funneling a lot of older, more specific enhancement items directly into Vox Advice.
So things like those magic inscribed parchments.
Yeah.
Or the secret books.
Yep. Those are being converted straight into Vox Advice stacks of the equivalent value. So
Yeah.
if you had items that gave, say, a +20 stack, you'll just get a Vox Advice +20.
And what about older crafting stuff? I remember things like Dawn Awakening stones for making specific Vox stacks.
Gone. Or, well, retired. They're removing those kinds of obsolete components to really streamline what you need to keep track of. It's all about Vox Advice now.
Makes sense. Simplify. Simplify.
And probably the best part of the Vox Advice change, honestly, it's now a family-bound, instant-use item.
Instant use, meaning no Black Spirit animation.
no animation, and you can access and use them via a new quick shortcut button directly. No need to even have them in your inventory. No need to swap to an alt character just to use their stack.
Wait, family bound and instant use from a shortcut? That's huge. That changes the workflow entirely.
It's a massive efficiency boost. Think about all the time spent shuffling stacks between characters or storage. That's just gone.
The time adds up. Okay,
Yeah.
so freeing up player time, that kind of leads us into the next section, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The changes around trial characters and making PvP more standardized.
It does seem connected, yeah. They're taking that time you saved, managing inventory, and maybe hoping you spend it practicing. The trial character system, your sandbox for equalized PvP,
Yeah.
is getting some significant updates.
Like the level increase.
First big thing, yeah. They're bumping the level for trial characters from 60 up to 62.
Why 62 specifically?
That gives every trial character access to the Resilient Strength passive skill. It basically sets a higher, more current baseline for survivability, reflecting where most active high-level players are.
Okay, standardizing the baseline. And there's new gear too. Arsha's equipment, 3.
Arsh's Equipment 3, yeah. A new tier of trial gear. But here's where it gets a bit interesting. To actually get this new top tier trial gear, you need to do a quest.
Oh.
And that quest requires you to have pretty substantial stats, 365 AP, 425 DP, on one of your normal non-trial characters first.
Hold on. So to get the best practice gear, you need high-end gear on your main character. Doesn't that seem backward? If the point is fair practice.
It does raise that question, doesn't it? It suggests they see the very top end of trial character usage, not just as practice for anyone, but maybe more as a testing ground for players who've already proven they can reach high gear levels on the live servers.
So it's less learn the ropes here and more test your mettle against other geared players, but on equal footing.
That seems to be the implication for this new Tier 3 gear, yeah. It's kind of gatekeeping the highest level of practice, ensuring those using the absolute best templates have already cleared the main game's gear hurdles.
Interesting philosophy. But for actual fairness within a trial match, the bigger deal is probably with your disabling, right? The external buffs.
Absolutely. This is where they really level the playing field. A whole bunch of external buffs just won't apply to trial characters anymore.
Like what?
Things like buffs from your pets, any effects from your crystal presets, those morning light buffs you get from Black Shrine content, even the Millennium Ginseng buffs. All disabled or standardized.
Wow. So you can't prep beforehand with special buffs or rely on expensive crystal setups to get an edge.
Exactly. The idea is that when you step into the arena of Arsha, or wherever you use trial characters, your success depends purely on your skill with the class, your positioning, your strategy, not on advantages you brought in from outside.
Pure skill versus skill. That fits the competitive angle.
It really does. And speaking of execution, there were a couple of minor but important class fixes too, focused on making combat feel smoother.
Right, I saw those. Things for Lan and Ninja.
Yeah, for Lan, it's about making sure her Blood Moon skill links smoothly into follow-ups like Chain Wheel or Piercing Heart, just cleaning up the flow.
Preventing those awkward pauses mid-combo.
Exactly. And for Ninja, a fix for ninjutsu. Ghost Shadow when you use it after ninjutsu. Concealment, again, just reliability stuff that really matters when fights are decided by split-second execution, especially in that standardized environment.
Okay, makes sense. Let's shift gears now and head out onto the water. Naval combat seems to be getting some prep work done, likely for that blue battlefield content they mentioned for November.
Definitely looks like prep work. They made a really specific, interesting change to one type of sailor, the Quick Sailor.
Quick sailors, those affect cannon reload and rotation speed, right? What was the issue?
The issue, found during their internal tests apparently, was that if you stacked your entire crew with only quick sailors, their range stat called grit in Korean got so high they could actually fire cannons beyond the visual range of their own ship.
Wait, like artillery sniping from the fog of war.
Pretty much. You could hit enemies you couldn't even see yet. Which obviously is not great for balanced gameplay, makes it very one-sided.
Yeah, that sounds awful. So how did they fix the sniper crew problem?
Simple enough, conceptually. They capped the maximum effective range by reducing both the base grit stat and how much it increases as the sailor levels up, basically enforcing line of sight. You can't shoot significantly further than you can see anymore.
Okay, so they nursed the range. What did quick sailors get in return to keep them useful? Because that sounds like a big hit.
It is a big hit to range, but they got a massive buff to something else. Their horizontal firing arc. That's the vision stat. You said
So how wide an angle the cannons can swivel.
exactly. And the buff is huge. The base vision stat went from like 0.2% up to 6.0%. That's a dramatic increase.
Whoa. So less sniping capability, but much better ability to track targets and fire at wider angles when you're closer.
Precisely. It's a clear trade-off. They're pushing naval combat away from long-range, static sniping and encouraging more dynamic, close-quarters maneuvering and brawling, where being able to adjust your aim quickly across a wide arc is crucial.
That actually sounds way more exciting for PvP. Constant repositioning and aiming rather than just lobbing shells from max distance.
I think that's the goal, yeah. Make it more active, more engaging, especially for the upcoming Blue Battlefield content.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, one last major area. Changes that affect pretty much everyone world bosses. There's some big timing adjustments here.
Yeah, this one's going to impact read schedules and strategies for sure. The actual spawn times for the big bosses, Gazarka, Nuver, Karanda, Kutum, Garmoth, often they've shifted slightly earlier. I think it was 23.45 UTC plus 3. Now it's 23.3 UTC plus 3.
Okay, a slight shift. Because that's not the main thing, is it? It's the despawn timer.
That's the real game changer. The amount of time a boss stays alive before just poofing has been cut in half.
Half? From what to what?
From 30 minutes down to just 15 minutes.
15? Wow. Okay, that completely changes the calculus for participation, doesn't it? What does that mean for, like, smaller guilds or people who can't get there the second it spawns?
It means the pressure is on. Immense pressure. Success is way less about just showing up with numbers or having the stamina to fight for half an hour. It's now almost entirely about immediate high burst damage and efficiency.
You have to kill it faster, you get nothing.
Pretty much. If your group can't pump out significant damage very quickly within that 15-minute window, you risk missing the kill entirely. It really favors organized groups with high gear and coordinated burst phases right at the start.
So less forgiving for casual participation. And the enraged timers must have changed too then.
Naturally, yeah. They had to scale with the shorter window. The first enrage now triggers at 10 minutes instead of 15, and the second, usually more dangerous, enrage hits at just 12 minutes, down from 25.
So the fight ramps up much faster.
Intense.
Very intense. Peak performance required right from the get-go. No more slow burn. Definitely a strategic shift they're forcing there. Okay, just quickly rounding out some other bits. Saw a small HP nerf for the ocean boss, Bell.
Yeah, Bell's HP reduced by 10%. Just a little tweak to maybe make that fight a bit smoother.
And something good for new characters or ults?
Yeah.
Blackstones are becoming family-bound?
Right. That's a nice little QOL change. Makes it easier to transfer those early enhancement stones to the character that actually needs them, helping alts catch up a bit quicker.
Good stuff. And finally, something for the Node War and Siege guilds. Idana's Throne, a new UI.
Yeah, for the guilds that hold castles, the king can now access a specific UI to see their throne territory. It just clearly shows the region where their specific privileges and presumably tax benefits apply.
Just better clarity for guild leadership on their domain. Makes sense.
Removes ambiguity, which is always good for organization.
Okay, so let's pull back. Looking at this whole update package, the enhancement streamlining, the trial character standardization, the naval rebalance, the world boss crunch. What's the big picture here? What's the feeling you get?
I mean, the overwhelming feeling is one of tightening things up and maybe streamlining. They're removing friction from daily chores, like with the enhancement bag and the Vox advice changes. That gives you time back.
Right, less busy work.
But then they're using that focus, it seems, to demand more from you in competitive areas. Standardized trial characters mean wins come from skill, not prep. The Quick Sailor change forces active naval combat. The World Boss Timer demands peak efficiency. It's like they're cleaning house and raising the stakes simultaneously.
So if you're a veteran player, you're getting some nice quality of life improvements, less daily hassle. If you're maybe returning or newer, systems like enhancement are suddenly way less intimidating to get into.
Exactly. It feels like an investment in making the core leaps smoother, while also making the high-end competitive stuff feel, well, more competitive and skill-based.
Okay, so here's the final thought to leave everyone with, maybe something to chew on. That World Boss despawn timer. Slashing it down to 15 minutes, speeding up the enrages, it forces this incredible emphasis on immediate burst damage.
Yeah, the implications are pretty big.
So the question is, how does this shift the power dynamic? If only the most geared, most coordinated, highest burst guilds can consistently clear bosses in that tiny window, what happens to the overall supply of boss loot? Does it become even more concentrated at the very top? That 15-minute timer isn't just a clock anymore. It feels like the most effective gear check and coordination check they've implemented in a long time. Maybe time to rethink those crystal builds for pure damage.